Welcome to The Bottom Line. News about your neighborhood and its condition. News that will allow you to make an informed decision. From downtown to Dover and everywhere in between, it's news that reaches the residents of Wilmington and Newcastle County. News that's real, relevant, revealing. You've got it. It's The Bottom Line. Again, good evening. My name is Nicole DeSarette, and I am happy that you are with us on this April 4th, 2016. We are going to bring you news and updates, and then we're going to get out of your way so that you can watch Nova Nation do their thing. And Ed's going to give you an update on the whole sports scene. So we're excited. You know, I know we're in Delaware, but Nova Nation, that's close enough. So go Wildcats. I know it's April 4th. It's feeling like December, January. The weather is kind of doing its thing. We're expecting rain showers and thunderstorms this evening, and we're under a freeze watch. Go figure. I know they say that April showers bring May flowers, but I don't think anybody was quite ready for this cold spell that we're in. But we know that this too shall pass. So spring will be here and summer will be here, and then we'll be looking forward to some cooler weather. I know most of the children are back in school. They are finished with their spring break. I just want to encourage the students to finish the year strong. Whether you are a senior in high school, whether you are a second grader or sixth grader, finish the school year strong. Parents, guardians, please stay on top of what's going on with your child's school. You have to be involved, and that's the only place that change is going to happen. So get involved, speak up, have conversations with your children about what's going on in the school. Next thing you know, summer will be here, and you don't want to wait until the last minute to look for activities for your children for the summer. Many camps, many educational programs fill up quite quickly. So keep an eye out on television as well as in the newspaper about things that you can involve your children in this summer. We have a lot of wonderful information to share with you this evening, including a special session on stress. You won't want to miss it. We have most of the Bottom Line crew here tonight. We will see our captain, State Rep Charles Potter, a little later. We have coming back, I'm excited to see them both. We have Elder Ty Johnson. We have that Republican, Cal Brown. And I will have to say publicly that I missed you both. After last week's session where, you know, I was the joke, I know who my friends are now at the Bottom Line. And Elder Ty and Reverend Cal, you are my friends. So I'm happy that you're back. Both of them are looking, as they say, casket sharp tonight. Yeah. So I'm glad that they're back in the house. I'm here tonight, just me and her, me and Miss Deneen White. They got to stop leaving us alone, Deneen, with all of these guys. And we have Mr. Shaquem Nottingham. So we have a lot of great information. And so let's be done with me and let's go right over to our own Elder Ty Johnson in Studio A. Take it away, Elder Ty.
Can't y'all see that I'm depressed? Stress? I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait until they start talking about that stress. I am so stressed. Psych, April Fools. I wasn't here on April Fools. You know I'm not stressed. I work for the Lord. I'm still working for the Lord. I'm still loving the Lord. So I am truly too blessed to be stressed. But I got to hear about this stress tonight. Tonight, baby. Welcome to the Bottom Line. And thank you so much, Nicole. I missed you all. Hallelujah. I don't know why you all always falling for those super tricks, man, from the captain. I don't know what goes on around this place here. Hello to everybody, everywhere, truly with a whole lot of love and a great big hug. Mwah! Welcome. The news is off to hizzle, chisel for shizzle. Did I say that right, Shaquem? Did I say that right? Okay, off to chisel for shizzle. That's what I mean. You know, the Republicans are running crazy. Trump, he's still wanting to do his thing, thinking everybody in town gonna vote for him but me. That's right, I said it, oh Lord. Everybody been cautious, everybody falling for all that okie doke, but you know who. And then, Bernie's coming on strong, so we're going to talk a lot more about that when the captain gets here, State Representative Potter. In the mean and in between time, still a lot of shootings going around and in the city. Congratulations to those political leaders, those religious leaders of faith, and police who stepped up to say the shootings must stop. And I'll say, if you're concerned about the shootings, if you're concerned about reducing the violence in either the Northeast neighborhood or the West Center City area, we will be holding a meeting at 10 o'clock this coming Friday, 10 a.m., write that down, 10 a.m. this coming Friday morning at the Porter Center, which is right on between Washington and Jefferson, I believe it is. Is that 9th Street, right? The Porter Center, Porter State Service Center, 10 o'clock Friday. Don't meet me there, you beat me there. Yours truly getting ready for the campaign. Those of you who want to work on the campaign, and you know I have the language to make that thing right. I'm not running against anyone. I'm running for the people and for the Lord. I've asked him to allow me to serve you, my people, in a different capacity. Now, if you want to get on this team, you know we about to bring it. Hot, hot, hot. We about to drop this thing on them, boy. And I'm not going to be doing it like everybody else doing it, because if I was doing it like they were doing it, then what would be the use in me getting in the thing anyway? I've prayed about it, and the Lord said, do it the way I told you to do it. Do it the way I blessed you to do it, and let's be a blessing to the people. If you want to be a part of this team, Saturday morning from 9 until 10, you can't be late. You know I start on time, I'm ending on time. 1 hour of your time is all I'm asking for. 2700 Washington Street, 2700 Washington Street, Saturday morning at 9 a.m. This Saturday, 9 a.m. in the morning. 9 a.m., 2700 Washington Street at the 1212 Club. Yours truly putting the team together, and we're going to be talking about how we strategize, how we mobilize, how we organize, and how we make this thing called City Council at Large a reality for yours truly. In the meantime, won't you please pray, because we had a vicious accident up in Chester with Amtrak, and they're still trying to decide what really went on. But anytime two folks die, anytime anything happens with Amtrak or any mode of transportation, we're always leery. I'm not saying don't ride the trains, but I'm saying, you know, when you get on a train or a plane, you're actually putting your life, your life should already be in God's hands, but you're putting your life in someone else's hands. And when something happens, we're always concerned. So we'll be watching that. In the meantime, we're praying for the Gatson family. Bubble Gatson, Jerry Gatson, Pee Wee Gatson. We understand that your mother has been brought into hospice. We're so very saddened by that. And we are in prayer, definitely in prayer for the Gatson family. If you know, my friends, the Gatson family, won't you please pray? Won't you pray for them? And then why don't you call one of them and say, look, you all, I understand that when your mother's being stricken, like she's being stricken, and she's being ill, and hospice has been called in, it's a challenging time. Anything we can do to help, we're there for you. Won't you do that? The Bible declares, through love and kindness have I drawn thee. Won't you be drawn to some real love? And love is an action word. Incidentally, let's move on down to Dover. I understand that Calvary Church has lost a pastor by the name of Reverend Dr. Avant, and we are praying for that whole church community in Dover. Reverend Dr. Avant was a pillar in the Dover community. He was my friend. I did a lot of work in Dover with the IMA, the Denominational Ministers Action Council in Dover and around southern Delaware, trying to bring about justice, trying to bring about issues, and Reverend Avant was right at the forefront. Thank you, Reverend John Moore, for in telling us and including us. And we too, up here, feel your pain at the Calvary Baptist Church. Amen? Amen. But you know, God is still in charge. Yes, Lord, God is still in charge. Now, let's whip it on back up here to Newcastle County, where they're getting ready for a big show. Our friends, this Saturday, it's 3 o'clock. It starts Men Standing Tall at St. Paul's United Church, UAME Church, Saturday, 3 o'clock. We're inviting you all to come on out, those who can. And that's right after you come. If you want to serve on the team now, you get there at 9. I'll have some refreshments for you, but 3 o'clock at St. Paul's United Methodist Church. Incidentally, around this city, people are still concerned, still up in arms about the violence. Young people, you've got to stop taking information from people who are hurt and people who are living off of bad information or distorted information. Got to learn how to deal with resentments. Just because somebody bump into you, or just because somebody says something you don't like, or they cut you off, doesn't mean you go from resentment to rage. There are other tools you can use, dude. Other tools you can use. How about practicing some acceptance? Big word, acceptance. If you got a resentment, say, oh, I don't like that right there. That's all right. Bible says, be angry, but sin not. It's all right not to like something, but don't act out on it. If you find yourself getting angry, you got to reach for some love right quick, because the only thing going to replace that anger is some love. And I know I've been angry a time or two. I've wanted to crack somebody a time or two. I haven't always been saved. I ain't going to talk, oh Lord, I ain't going to talk about that, but I'm glad I am. And I'm glad I got rid of the pistols. I can't tell you to put down the pistol. If I got the pistol, I'm not saying that, I ain't going to pick it up. If y'all start shooting at me, I'm going to say for right now, the Lord said, put down my pistol. You can put down the pistol also. I'm going to show you some love. Now, they tell me that the anger is being motivated by fear. Fear. Folks won't face everything and rise. They will face everything and run from their emotions. They're running from themselves. They're running from the things that are causing them pain. Oh, Lord. Pain. But do you know, if you want to replace that pain, if you want to replace that fear, it's going to take some faith. You got to forsake all. I trust him. Forsake all. I trust him. When you go to the supermarket and you go to buy some stuff, you swipe your card, you trust that money's on that card. You trust that the food you're buying has been dealt right with in a correct manner. You trust that. Why don't you trust a God to fight your battles? Why don't you trust a God to fight your battles? You know, they call me God's ambassador to the streets. I'm about to get out of here. And I want to say hello to everybody everywhere. If I missed you, charge it to my head and not my heart. Say hello to everybody in the high rises. Oh, Lord, I don't want you all to fall for the okie doke. All right? Incidentally, we have a thing going on now with Sister Carmen Brown called Rock the Vote. Well, Elder, what is Rock the Vote? Rock the Vote simply means there are still those folks who are not registered to vote. And I'm not saying this just because I happen to be running for office this year. No, I'm not. I'm saying rock the vote, because the only way you're going to make a difference is that you will get out there and do the one thing that God has given you that matters. That means you got to cast a vote. If you're old enough to vote, you should be voting. Carmen Brown says, invite her to your next event. She'll come for free. She'll teach folks how to register people so that they might vote. And we know some people, if you have not yet gotten, if you got some little something on your record and you need an expungement, give us a call. We'll help you work on that. But right now, call Carmen Brown and she'll tell you just how you can get registered so that we might not choke when it's time to rock that vote. Incidentally, we're about to move. I'm about to get out of here. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I've missed, because you know I'm getting a little older now, and I got my little phone with me. But I guess that's going to do it for yours truly. We're going to a break, and I'll be seeing you a little later or next week. We're waiting now for Big Ed to come with the sports to talk about that Nova Nation. Hallelujah. Look, I know he don't like it. But he's a Johnson. We're waiting for that one Republican, the Reverend Calvin Brown, and we're waiting for Shaquem, Deneen, and Nicole, and they're going to talk about stress. And that's the bottom line.
Welcome back to The Bottom Line. Before we get into our discussion about stress, because they're waiting for it, Deneen.
I hear it, yeah.
I just wanted to announce this. A few weeks ago, we had some representatives here from the National Brain Tumor Society, and that walk is coming up quickly. It is Saturday, April 23rd, and it will start. The walk starts at 9:45, and on-site registration begins at 8:30. So if you are interested in supporting that organization, please do. That's April 23rd. And one of their teams is having a fundraiser on April 8th. It is a beef and beer hosted by James Jobs. It will be held at the Belvedere Fire Hall from 6 to 10. So go out and support and help people who are dealing with brain tumors.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
Stress. So this is what the audience didn't hear last Monday,
What's that?
is that they were stressing me out. They were stressing me out from 8 to 9 every Monday when they get here and they start cutting up.
You did
and,
mention that.
Yeah, they were stressing me out. So
But you got,
I'm only kidding.
You know, we were talking briefly before the show started about how you can't let them get in your head.
How about that?
You
How
know?
about that? So
Because stress, that's typically what it comes from, people and getting in your head, and then your own self-talk, right?
How
A
about
lot
that?
of times is what causes the stress. So what is stress, right? We should probably start there. I'm so organized when I
Okay,
think, right? Because
okay.
I always have to start with, if we're going to talk about a subject or a topic, that you first have to identify what you're talking about, right? And educate the people about what is stress.
Right.
So you're the expert.
I don't know if I said that. So when we talk about stress, we're not talking about your built-in stress. So where you're at the movies and something scary happens and you jump. That's natural. I'm talking about the stress that is over and above. Stress where your body is just kind of in this flight or fight mode and it's not shutting down the way it's supposed to. So you may feel under stress for weeks at a time, and our bodies aren't designed to function like you're always being scared.
Right, because there's some type of tension or pressure that's being applied from some type of adverse situation or circumstance that you may be fighting, right?
Right.
And so it can be both mental and emotional.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Would you agree? And a lot of times, you know, I said that it comes from other individuals and from yourself. Would you agree that a lot of times we're inflicting the stress on ourselves?
Right. It's what we allow.
Because of what we allow.
What we allow.
That is so true. And so, you know, it's all about perspective. And so when you put your stress in perspective, then you realize that the focus should very much be on what can I control and what's really important.
Right. And sometimes the things that we stress about, it's a fear about what may happen, and we spend all of this time losing sleep, not eating, or X, Y, Z, and we're worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, and none of the things that we stressed out about happen, so we just wasted time. We wasted energy. We wasted a good night's sleep. And you talked about the things over which we have control.
That's
If it's not in your control, we just need to let it go. And that's hard to let some things go.
It's hard to do. And, you know, especially when you have been really raised, you know, you look at generations in your family and you just think about the way that a lot of the elders handled situations. You know, we were always in survival mode, you know, growing up. Generation after generation, you were just taught to survive, right? You always had more month than you had money. So you had to make the money stretch, and you had to figure out what bill you was going to pay and what was more important, the Easter dress or the light bill, you know. And parents, you know, have always handled their household a certain way, but it definitely affects the children and how we grow up and learn to be in our own households.
Absolutely. And you know what? Earlier today, I was thinking about children. And I was thinking about when my children were young, they could tell when I was stressed out. So sometimes parents think, oh, the children, they're little.
They're young.
They don't know that there's an issue with X, Y, and Z. They don't realize that I'm stressed out, and they think that they're covering, you know.
That's
but
true.
children are very perceptive. And my children could always tell when I was stressing out. And this is a little thing. But when I didn't put my clothes in the hamper, because I was a stickler about that.
Don't tell me you would be
put your
stressed.
clothes in the hamper. So when they started piling on top of the hamper, you know, I can remember my son saying, "Oh, mom's a little stressed," and it's like, and that was an eye opener for me that he was aware of that, you know, because you think, you know, I'm masking it, nobody knows, but your children pick up on that.
Children know.
And not only do the children know when the adults in their lives are stressed, it's really important for adults to know when their child is stressed. And, you know, as a former educator, I feel some kind of way about the fact that children in our society are experiencing stress.
They are.
You know, you can hear it, and I know it's a common term, oh, I'm just so stressed out. We use it so loosely. But to hear a 6-year-old say I'm stressed out, sometimes it's not them just using it because that's the thing to say. They really are stressed out. And I think part of the issue with that is that adults are giving young children too much information.
I agree.
They're giving them too much information. They're exposing them to some things that when we were growing up, it was adult business, it was adult conversation.
And you were not included.
Right.
You had no idea the circumstances or situations were
Right.
taking place. Children are in adult conversations on a daily basis. They know exactly what's going on. They know the troubles that their parents are having. But let me say this on the flip side of that. I do believe to some extent, and there's a very fine line, but I do believe to some extent you have to teach your children how to get through some stuff. See, that's the problem with a lot of children and why they act out today, right? And they become adults that act out. Because they don't know how to get through anything, right? And so when you remember any time in your childhood, you know, if you came from a family where you didn't have a silver spoon in your mouth, then, you know, and there were struggles inside of the household, you know, and we were aware to a certain degree that, you know, we weren't living like the Joneses, right? So you knew you wasn't living like the Joneses if you didn't know anything else, but a lot of times you didn't even know you were poor, right?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, because you always had exactly what you needed. But what did it take for it to get to that point? Because it's mighty funny how black families in poor neighborhoods were, in that day and time, back in the day, was able to have what they needed.
Right.
Right? They may not have the best of everything, but they took care of what they had, even if
Right.
it was secondhand.
Right.
And they always had what they needed.
They had what they needed and they appreciated what they had. Because sometimes it's always about wanting more. And that's sometimes that's where the stress comes from. Is that, you know what, I have a coat, but I want the designer coat.
That's right.
And so it's that always wanting more and more and more. And it can create stress.
So, I just want to mention, because I know we don't have a lot of time to talk about it, but we probably need to start talking about what do you do to kind of overcome your stressful times, right? So the times when you're feeling stressed out, when you feel like you can't get from one point to the next because of situations that are taking place. The first thing I would say is to identify what is stressing you out.
Right. What's that stressor? What's
Right.
the
What
trigger?
are the triggers?
What are the triggers?
Absolutely. Identifying what the triggers are so then you can zone in on that.
Right.
Because, being around family, laughing and joking, probably not a little stressed out. But as soon as you go to work, boom.
Right.
Right? They say that that stress is like the #1 killer, right? To some degree, and most people are stressed out between 8 and 9 in the morning on their way to work.
Right. Traffic and things of that nature. So I think you're right on it, Deneen. You need to identify the triggers. And then once you identify those stressors, you need to have a plan in place. So if you realize that on the job, Sally Mae is stressing you out. Okay, what do you need to do when you start to feel that way? Maybe you can go take a walk.
Right.
Maybe you can have a stress ball. Maybe you just need to go somewhere and do some deep breathing.
Deep breathing,
Deep breathing.
Is definitely key, and even counting.
Yes.
A lot of people laugh about that, because you see it being acted out in the television, it's laughed at. But counting to 10 is real. When you get stressed out, to actually take some deep breaths and count to 10 to
Right.
really calm yourself so that you can focus on what is stressing you out.
Right,
So,
absolutely. And if you're a person who reaches for food when you're experiencing stress. Now I understand that desserts spelled backwards is stressed, but we shouldn't be. It is. It is.
I swear you just do this in your spare time. I mean,
But we
Some of us are
shouldn't
out
be
skiing,
reaching. We said some are out skiing. We shouldn't be reaching for food. So if you know that's how you handle your stress, so what's your backup plan? Some people, they need something sweet. Some people need something crunchy. So if you're a person who reaches for something crunchy, instead of reaching for those potato chips, have the carrot sticks, have the baby carrots and the celery sticks or apples or something like that. And you need to have it there because if you're feeling under stress and you open the refrigerator and it's not there, you are not going to get in the car, drive to the store, and get some baby carrots and come back. You're not going to do that. What you're going to do is you're going to reach for the cookies.
What's
You're going to
convenient,
reach for what's
sure.
convenient, and you'll say, tomorrow I'll work out extra at the gym. That's what you think.
I think that we definitely need to reach out to somebody who is who can kind of weigh in on this conversation and talk about stress, because it extends to so many different, when we talk about obesity, so many different areas.
Right.
Obesity, violence, there's so many different areas that stress plays a part. And we really, I think this is a discussion that needs to go on for a
Right.
few weeks, because we can talk about mental illnesses and disorders. We can talk about violence and the part that is playing in that, and our
Right.
children, and so many different things. So I think that this is a conversation we definitely need to continue. And
Absolutely.
we may have to have a special guest come weigh in on a conversation, someone who has some type of PhD in
Okay.
mental illness
Okay.
or
Because you're right. Mental illness, and it's an illness. It's not something to be ashamed of. So maybe we can link that up with Mental Illness Awareness Month. I believe that's coming up.
That's coming up.
In the spring as well.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
okay, so to be continued.
To be continued.
And just for the record, the male crew of the Bottom Line, as of today, you are no longer stressing us out. We are.
I was never stressed. And somebody told me that I have to redirect the people that are stressing me out.
So you've been served notice, Bottom Line crew, not naming any names. So, okay, so we're going over to Studio C. And Ed, take it away. You good?
All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the sports edition of the show. I know they want to talk about me as one of the ones who's stressing them out, so we can count me out. Okay. All right. If you need some insurance, come over to CB and Charles, or if you need your tax work done, come over to CB and Charles at our office at 2605 on Broome Street. We'd be happy to see you, and we'll give you a good job and take care of you. Start off by saying, in golf, Tiger Woods announced that he is not playing in this year's Masters tournament, which starts this coming Thursday. I'm shocked. I predicted last year that Tiger Woods would make a comeback. I don't know now, and I don't know what happened to Tiger Woods. It's a thing on Sports Illustrated with his picture on there this week. Tiger, I wish you would come back strong. I don't know what happened to you. You're a good player. NHL, the Philadelphia Flyers are making a strong push for the playoffs. They're getting hot at the right time. With 5 games left to play, they're tied with one of the last spots for the playoffs. Good luck to the Flyers. Hopefully you make it, and good luck once again, and hopefully you'll go a long way in the playoffs. Soccer, retired World Cup soccer player Amy Wambach was arrested for investigation of driving under the influence. She's 35 years old. She's very tearful about this situation. I hope she'll pull through this and won't repeat this again. Tennis, Novak Djokovic and Victoria Azarenka, they're victorious in the Miami Open. She beat Serena Williams the last time they played. Hopefully, Serena will bounce back. Djokovic won his 6th Key Biscayne title. They're still dominating on the tennis side. Pro basketball, 76ers are on the brink to match the worst record in NBA history. With just 5 games to go, they're just plain awful. If they don't win another game, they're going to tie the record of 9 and 73. Right now, they're 9 and 68. They're just plain awful, and they just keep trading away good players, and they're getting just what they deserve. On the other hand, the Golden State Warriors are 69 and 8 after last night's win. 5 games left to play. They need to win 4 out of the last 5 to set the new mark. I'm betting that they will not only set the new mark, but they'll win the NBA championship. They are very good, and it's going to be tough to beat them in a 7-game series. NCAA tournament. Women's UConn Huskies on their way to a 4th straight national championship after beating the number 2 seeded team they played last night 80-51. I say, and I predict that Breanna Stewart and her teammates will hoist the national championship tomorrow night as they will win their 75th straight game. This is just an amazing feat, and I just can't keep throwing accolades at this great team because they are just fantastic. The Villanova Wildcats will play the North Carolina Tar Heels tonight for the national championship. Villanova played outstanding against Oklahoma. I predicted wrong in saying that Oklahoma would win that game, but they made Oklahoma look bad, and they just smothered them with some terrific defense. If they play like they played last Saturday night, they will beat the Tar Heels, who they've never beaten in 5 tries. They've never beaten North Carolina Tar Heels. The Tar Heels got a good coach. They're a very good team. I think this is going to be a very good and close game. And like I predicted when this tournament started, I don't know who's going to win this one. Okay, I'm going to close out by saying Kyle Busch wins again for a weekend sweep at Martinsville Speedway, and George Washington is the NIT champion. We're going to take it over to Cal, my good friend.
All right. Welcome back to the bottom line. Today, no Republican business today. Promised Charles Potter that I wouldn't talk politics tonight. I'm here for a good cause tonight. Tonight I'm here to talk about the upcoming Eastern Diocese Church of Christ Holiness Youth Conference that's going to be held in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Yours truly is the pastor of the New Life Christian Center, Church of Christ Holiness USA, where Deacon Stephen Hill is our outgoing president. He's a local kid from Wilmington, Delaware, grew up here with his family, his mother and father. His whole family lives in this area, and he's a member of the church that I pastor. And today we're just going to talk for just a few minutes about how you can get involved in making this event happen. We're going to be sending our children to compete against churches from New York down to Alabama. And it's a lot of kids. We've sold out 2 hotels in the Virginia Beach area. It's just going to be a wonderful time. But I want to thank, first of all, before we get started, I want to thank our sponsors, County Council President Christopher Bullock, But the county exec has been wonderful. Tom Gordon is he's our biggest sponsor to date. He's donated a good amount of finances to help our children in the transportation. We also receive a good support from Mayor Dennis Williams. I want to thank the mayor and his team over in the city. I think City Councilman Mike Brown, along with the City Council President Theo Gregory, has been instrumental in moving our young people to be able to attend this youth conference in Virginia Beach. Our own city councilman, Bob Williams from the 7th District, where our church is located, has been great in there. So we got, and also, of course, our State Representative Charles Potter has helped us a great deal. We've gotten money from our county councilman, Jay Street, my man Jay. He looked out for us. We would thank God for Jay Street been helping us. We're also got a plan for expansion of a child care facility in the Hilltop community and center that we're hoping to flesh out sometime in the coming years quickly. But the youth conference is what we do with our young people from, like I said, from New York all the way to Alabama, from Atlanta, Birmingham, New York City and Harlem, Washington, D.C. It's just a wonderful time. Hampton, Newport News, Portsmouth, Norfolk. We got a lot of churches, and our young people compete. And although our team is not the biggest team, I think our oldest candidate, she's actually an intern right here, Maya Perkins. She's going to be spearheading our young people as they go down to Virginia Beach to compete in a tournament, not just of biblical proportions, but a great deal of moral training. And we heard Elder Ty talk about conflict resolution. We start in the church. As a pastor of the church, we talk about how we try to resolve things appropriately. Everything's not the death penalty. So it takes a lot of people to continue to make things happen. As you can see behind me, the flyer, just some of the stuff that we're going to be doing down in the Eastern Conference Diocese. I tell you, I'm excited about it. This is the thing that I do. A lot of people think I'm just politics. That's just a small part of my life. I'm a pastor first. I love the Lord, but I love God's people. And especially I got a heart for young people. So we got a bus, we have to pay to a hotel accommodation. A lot of our children are right from the Hilltop community. They come from underprivileged homes, headed up by one parent or the other. And we have to hustle to get money. So that's why we're grateful for our sponsors. You want to know how you can get involved? You can get involved. You might say, Brother Pastor, I don't have a lot of money. But you don't need a lot of money. What we just need you to do is contribute to what we're doing. You can make all checks, they're tax-deductible donations. We're a 501c3 organization to the New Life Christian Center at 234 North Clayton Street in Wilmington, Delaware. We're going to be happy. And if you get registered, we're going to we'll get you one of these Eastern Diocese bag. Our theme this year is Spring in Action. All our colors are spring. We have a great small bag that goes with it. So we're just happy to be a part of it. Don't forget, why don't you stand with us this year? I know you stand with a lot of people, but stand with the New Life Christian Center. Again, thanks again. We'll see you next week on The Bottom Line.
So welcome back. We are here at our round table to have a heavy discussion about what's happening in and around our communities. But before we jump in, Reverend Ty, you had something you wanted to share.
I just wanted to share this right quickly for those who are our civil rights folks. And this was brought to our attention by T, Cup of Tea, who is one of our awesome producers. Listen, you all, U.S. Today News reports the Supreme Court refuses Monday to change the way the state municipal voting districts are drawn, denying an effort by conservatives that would have increased the number of rural, mostly white districts and at the expense of urban, largely Hispanic and black communities. That's important. Mm-hmm. That's real important. Go Supreme Court. Let's talk about some murders, man.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. So there's 77
unsolved homicides right here in the city of Wilmington.
77 unsolved.
77 unsolved. You know, it was published in Delaware online and in the News Journal that there are 77 unsolved homicides in our city. And they had a list of bullets of the reasons why they believe that this is happening or has happened or is happening, right, current. And so number of the reasons were, a few were that they are not meeting regularly to discuss what's working, what's not working, and changes that need to be made.
So the left hand doesn't really know what the
What
right
right hand is doing. And then another issue that is happening is that they're saying that they don't have enough staff. They don't have enough police. They don't have enough their task force.
But we know that's not true.
I don't like when they say that, because the reason is they cut the budget, they cut people. Now they complaining because they cut the people and they cut the budget. So which is it? Do you want surplus or do you want not enough? I'd rather have more than enough than to have not enough.
But according to most of the reports, Wilmington has per capita one of the largest police force in the nation. Did you
One
know
of the
that?
That's
largest in the
crazy.
nation.
In the nation.
For them to say we don't have enough. You know what? This brings me back to another statement. I've always learned to be very wise and thoughtful in my speaking. And when I'm listening to other people speak, and especially when it comes down to things that happen in the city, I'm not pleased anymore, because a lot of people want to complain about the city, complain about the killings, complain about this, that, and the third happening, cars getting stolen, kids gone loose, and just everything just happening. But the thing is, if you are if you have a problem with like if you get caught on a nail, are you going to stay on the nail, or are you going to move away from the nail? Because if you're content and just sticking there and complaining, that's not going to change anything. The situation's going to keep happening over and over and over and over until you get out there and do something about it.
So recently, three young men died.
Yes.
And these 3 young men were rappers or
They were
friends.
Yes.
And now all
All
of them
three.
are gone.
All 3. Jamar Kilgo.
Kobe.
Yes. And then also we just had Mace Mangrum. And then we also had Daryl Rogers. All 3 of them, for some weird reason, all 3 of them end up dead by people that they knew, by people that they shook hands with. So the hands don't match the smiles.
And what do you think's driving a lot of the random? Do you think it's random, or do you think it's?
Do you think it's random?
No.
If I know you, I shake your hand on a daily basis. Every time I see you, I say, "What's up?" We have a conversation. We can consider ourselves cordial and friends. But the thing is, you never know what's going on in my mind. You never.
I'm all about focusing on things that you can control, and you can't control another person's actions. People will say and do what they want to say and do, and you can't do anything about it. However, you can police the atmosphere on where these people are gathering. And so why was a gun even allowed into the establishment? How did we create space and opportunity for an incident to go down? So things can happen in the parking lot, absolutely. People can tote things in their vehicles, absolutely. But when you're inside of an establishment, how
does that happen?
How does that happen?
Because these are supposed to be our sacred institutions. These are supposed to be where our babies, our children are safe.
Well, the thing is, if the most recent one happened at the Shades of Blue, but if I know the bouncer, hey homie, what's good? I don't get pat down like everybody else.
I see.
Yeah.
Tailgates, same thing.
But I was saying sacred institutions because I was drawn back to that horrific shooting out of Rose Hill. It was just terrible because they all were friends.
Yes.
Right.
And then when you look at what goes on, thank God for Ugundy, who's over at
Yes.
West End.
Hicks Anderson. And congratulations to Gundy. I know he has his finger on the pulse, but it's a heck of a job. And,
Yes.
Yeah.
you know, growing up
Stress.
with you all.
Yeah, and you know, and that's why we need to continue this conversation. But also, can we just mention that it is not? What am I trying to say? It is not the responsibility of. It's a responsibility for everyone.
Absolutely.
But the rallies and the marches is not what we're referencing, right? When we say, what can you do
Yes.
to turn this around, right? We're not saying to hold another rally.
No.
What are we saying?
Get up there and vote.
Well, what I'm saying is sometimes you see a person at that point, and sometimes you know when an individual is about to do something that is ungodly or unsavory, and you can change their direction with a word. Sometimes all it takes is speaking up, speaking out. Hey, give him a pass. Give him a pass.
Right.
Then again, there was a post made on the person who they say the accused of the murder, stating that he was actually bullied and he was going through that type of thing with the person who was murdered. So it's like, okay, so now that's a whole nother situation. That's a whole nother outlying circumstance that honestly, I don't know the answer to it. Nobody knows the answer to it. Only person that knows the answer to it is the person behind the gun and the person that's dead.
That's it. Yeah, so you want to go ahead and wrap us up because this is a discussion that we can absolutely
Yes.
talk about for hours.
So there you have it. And you heard Shaquem, you've heard Deneen, you've heard them talk about it's our job to keep our young people safe. It's our job to keep our community safe. It's our job to hold our police accountable. It's our job. It's not somebody else's job. For the whole crew, that's crazy when we don't. We'll see you next week at the same time, right here on The Bottom Line.